Hi there, I'm Craig Hamilton Parker, a psychic medium. If you've not been to my channel before, this is where we do all sorts of predictions. We talk about the future. And today I'm going to talk about the star sign of Leo and your forecast for 2024. So hi everyone, and thanks for joining me for your sun sign astrology, basically the basic astrology, something simple about your sign for the year ahead. So let's have a look first of all at some of the things that are happening in the sky. First, there's going to be Pluto is moving into Aquarius. Now, Pluto is is the furthest out of the planet, so it moves very, very slowly, and it's moving into Aquarius from January the 20th until September the 1st, and then it's coming out of it for a while and back in again from November the 19th right through to March 2043. And Pluto deals with lots of the things involved with society at large and ages, as it were, the sort of eras we're entering. So Pluto entering Aquarius is a pretty good thing. We can have it there for the next 19 years. So this is good news for everybody, really, and good news for society generally and the world at large. It brings Pluto in Aquarius brings innovation of new ideas. It brings new opportunities, new inspiration, and hopefully some better human values. So with all the troubles we're getting in the world, it's an optimistic thing to have Pluto moving into Aquarius. This should open up lots of new beginnings, lots of new starts for us. There's going to be a number of eclipses in 2024, of course, and these are also give energy to the periods when there's an eclipse. And eclipses bring sort of transformation. Eclipses empower. They clear out the old and they bring in the new. So one of the most significant is going to be around September time, when there'll be an eclipse in the sign of Pisces. And this is positive news. And it's positive news again for the world because it can bring things like new inventions and new discoveries, medical discoveries and things like that. So that will be hopefully something good for the news for the world ahead. There's going to be the main eclipses are going to be Libra is going to have a full moon lunar eclipse on the 25th of March. Aries has a new moon solar eclipse on the 8th of April. Pisces, the full moon lunar eclipse on the 17th of September. And Libra's new moon solar eclipse on the 2nd of October. So the eclipses, so we get things like, you consider these dates as new starts, new ventures, times, any of those dates are good times to make changes. A lot of astrologers believe that solar eclipses are all about new beginnings, and lunar eclipses are clearing out the old. So those are the points of changing points in the times around ahead. Jupiter conjunct Venus in Taurus on the April the 20th, 2024. This happens around every 14 years because this is again the slow moving planets outside of the asteroid belt. This doesn't happen very often, but Jupiter in astrology is always a good sign, a planet of expansion. It magnifies anything. It brings good fortune. It's jovial. It's a positive. It brings prosperity, opportunity, optimism, hope, and more meaning to life as well. So we have Jupiter conjunct Uranus and Taurus on the 20th of April. That's another good energetic time for people. Lots of good things happening with Jupiter this year, particularly as its influence in Aquarius. And Uranus, of course, is the planet of change. It's also a planet of concerned with social awareness and evolution of humanity and things like this. It usually sits it's good in the sign of Aquarius again. So all this is quite positive news for the world ahead. Perhaps are going to be an energetic time for most of us. Actually, it collectively invites a kind of a new wave of thoughts of liberation, thoughts of freedom are going to be very important this year ahead in terms of the planets. Lots of changes, many elections happening around the world. These are all in my predictions, of course, but there's lots happening with that. So lots of changes, and often changes for the good, the way things are looking. Jupiter is going to be in Gemini on May 25th, right through to June the 9th. 2025, and this is a planet that can bring good luck, in good fortune and abundance again. Um, and it brings opportunities wherever it travels, and particularly when in Gemini. So all of these things are happening in the stars. These are all things that will influence all the signs. But now let's have a look at your individual sign. So Leos always like to be a kind of a leader, don't you? You like to be in charge very much. And it's been quite difficult for you romantically up to now, because you kind of like to kind of dominate your relationships very often. This year, we've got to just be a little bit careful how we tread, particularly when we're connecting with people in authority, when we're dealing with anything legal, when we're doing anything that could bring us harm. We have to tread cautiously and don't leap in too quick into relationships. There are opportunities ahead which could turn into very good things for you, but it's how you handle things that matters. You have a tendency this year to be a bit impetuous, to make rash decisions and not follow common sense. You've got a brilliant mind, a mind that can achieve and develop much. You are a great philosopher in many respects, and this is a time to share some of your real gifts, your intellectual gifts with the world. It could be some very life-changing opportunities for travel. You're very good for around the April the 8th, where there's an eclipse which will help deepen your knowledge of things generally, but also help you with travel, and particularly going to places that might inspire you, maybe the classic world or something like that, something that gets you inspired about the place that you've been. You've got Jupiter and Uranus in your 10th house. This should bring a lot of prestige in the first half of your year. Could give you lots of visionary sort of ideals and plans, and it could really catch hold, and you could be full of lots of inspiration this year if you allow yourself to run with this energy. When we got Jupiter coming into Gemini, it boosts your popularity. So you should be much more popular, have more friends around you. And this should be a time of making good friendships, making new networks, new communications with people. If you're in any form of communication type of business, this is a time to network with others and to make new contacts, and gather people around you, and still retain quite a lot of control over the situation that's around you. And a good period on the 2nd of October eclipse. That'll be a good time for you as well. Saturn and Neptune are working together to give you in your 8th house, which could turn what was a hopeful relationship, something you've hoped about, into the real thing, as it were. That's a time when perhaps a hoped for relationship or hope for marriage could come about. So it depends on you, because there's restrictions. This is a year for you where there's a lot of caveats. You can do, but so a lot of it's up to you. It's very important that you make sensible decisions, that you don't get arrogant about the way you storm through life, but you listen to others and feel the influences around you. We've got in April the 20th, for example, we've got Jupiter and Uranus aligned in Taurus. This is a great time for potential opportunities if you take them. And we've got the Pluto in your 7th house of partnerships throughout the year. It could be a shift of some sort shown by that, perhaps with clients or new colleagues. Mars retrograde will influence your sign during December 2024 right through to February 2025, which could be a frustrating period towards the very end of the year. So to go with it, because it's how you deal with these things. With everything, it's not a question of what's good or what's bad in a sign. Is it going to be a good year or not? That doesn't apply to any sign. It's how we deal with it. And I think particularly in 2024 for the sign of Leo, it's very important. It's how you deal with things. You're the one that would make the mistakes, and you're the one that would make the successes. It's up to you. Well, I hope you enjoyed your sun sign astrology, as we call it. And of course, as you know, it can only be kind of quite simple, really. It will only cover the very basics of a star sign, but hopefully gain something from that and get a bit of an idea of the year ahead for 2024. But I want to tell you about something that's really, really fascinating, which is called the Nardi oracles. And now, some of you would have read about this in my books already and already explored this, but there's a system in India that goes back thousands and thousands of years, in which there was what's called the ancient rishis. Now, these were kind of like astrologers, but they were seers. And they could foresee the future of any person that would ever come and call upon those rishis, as it were. And they wrote it all down on palm leaves, which are like an Indian book made out of wood. Like, it looks like a sort of like rulers, with it all written down in ancient Tamil language. And they wrote down the future of anybody that consults them. I consulted them, and it completely blew my mind. It tells you all about your life in total detail, even giving the name of your parents and the date and time of your birth. And even if you don't know the time of your birth, it will give it to you, and it will know your name, even if you don't give your name or anything like that. It's absolutely remarkable. Now, I was one of the first kind of modern YouTubers, or people in the West generally, to first start really exploring these ancient Nardi leaves. And now they've become available to anybody that wants to consult them. And it's very, very hard to get a proper Nardi reading. It's very, very hard to find this ancient wisdom source. There's Nardi readers out there that are complete fakes. And the good ones are now so booked up, they're now booked up years in advance. Now, where I've been working with the Nardi readers, they have agreed that the readings that come through me are given top priority. They jump the queue. So instead of having to wait years, you can wait just a few months to get your Nardi readings. Now, this may change. So if you want a Nardi reading through me, and a lot of you know about this already who follow the channels, if you want a Nardi reading from me, now is the time, because this window might close. So have a look in the description below. And what you're going to need to do is go to the link in the description below and then send me an email through the form on the site. Just the contact form on the site. And just say, Craig, I'd like to get a Nardi reading. Can you put me in touch with them, or something like that? Just so I know what it's about. And then I'll copy you in and send and forward your emails to the Nardi readers so that you get prioritized on getting a Nardi reading. There's a little bit on the page that explains what it is. But you really also, if you're going to do this, this is not like your normal astrology by any means whatsoever. It's a very, very powerful thing that can be very transformative in your life. And I'm not just going to flog you the book. I would like you to read the book if you do go into it. So have a look at my book, Messages from the Universe, in which I talk about what happens, how it happened to me, how I checked it all out for frauds and all the rest of it. And it just gives you some idea about what it's all about. I've also produced a film about it on Amazon Prime, which you can go and watch for free if you're an Amazon Prime member, called Mystic Journey to India. I had to think for a minute there, and you can learn about it as well. But if you want to know about the sort of astrology that'll leave you sort of mind boggled, then this is your chance. So have a look in the description below. Like I say, this window will not be open for long. This is probably going to be one of your last chances to get a Nardi reading. So if you're thinking about doing it, now's your time. Get in touch with me, guys, and I'll forward it through to you. Like they say, very few people can get their Nardis. That's why the door is closing, because so many have come to it, and there's only a few readers that are really, truly out there that can do this. There's lots that claim they can. There's only very, very, very few. They're so rare. As you're reading the book, if you want to do the research. Okay, there we go. I'm not doing that just as an ad. I know that many of you are very interested in this. So, okay, thanks for joining me. And like I say, have a look at the description below. Don't forget to give me a like and give me a thumbs up, because that helps these videos to reach out further. And don't forget to follow my channel. And thanks for everything, for all your support, you guys, for all your support through 2023. And I think for a minute I've been saying 2024 all the time. All your thought and all your lovely comments and all those that have been patrons that have helped the site. Thank you, guys. And we wish you a happy new year for all of you. Okay, see you soon. Bye for now.